Hello and welcome back to another session on adverse drug reaction, and today we will be discussing about how to identify adverse drug reactions and the actions which are needed if you detect adverse drug reactions as far as administration is concerned. Um, so, if you want to identify adverse drug reactions, you need to know something about how the drug is developed. Okay, we need to go at the grassroots level and find out the possible sites at which you can detect adverse drug reaction. Um, if you want to develop a drug, it basically has to pass through various phases. The first phase is, of course, the animal studies, in which you see for the safety, you see for any serious adverse drug reactions which might occur in them, and if the severity is very high, you discard the medication at that point. If approved, then you move on to clinical studies, which are usually done in phases of phase 1, 2, 3. 3 is basically randomized multicentric controlled trials. So, at all the stages of clinical pharmacology, clinical research, you can detect adverse drug reaction in human beings. In fact, you can, I mean, you must be reading newspapers nowadays, in which many people die because of severe adverse drug reactions they get when they enroll themselves in various clinical trials, and that's a ethical issue, a big ethical issue, I should say, in the world. And there is a lot of outcry regarding the same in recent times, especially in the developing and the underdeveloped countries. So, these are the possible sites at which a pharmacist or a pharmacologist would try to look for any adverse drug reactions, and if the severity is high, then possibly the drug is discarded, and that's the reason that you have around 1000 drug molecules, potential drug molecules, which hope the promise to cure a disease, but just to come up to the stage where they can get marketed, because most of the other drug molecules have some or the other problem. The second uh, platform where you can actually detect adverse drug reaction is in post marketing surveillance. Once the drug is in the market after the phase 3, it cannot be left like that. You need to look into what's happening with the efficacy and the safety of the drug in the population. Now, these studies which are carried out are usually called as the post marketing surveillance, because you do it once the drug is in the population, being prescribed on a daily basis by physicians or by doctors. So, that's the time that you actually learn so many new things about the dynamics and the kinetics of the drugs. Even new ideas, new uses of a drug just come up at this point. So, this is a time when possibly one has to look for, I should say, rare side effects of a drug. At the same time, side effects which occur when 2 or 3 drugs are given together. So, kind of drug interaction side effects can just surface out if you are trying to look into the phase 4. Of course, this is also called as a phase 4 of clinical trials. So, post marketing surveillance does help us to get into all those things. So, these are all the possible sites at which the drugs ADR can be detected. Moving forward, something on spontaneous reporting. Okay, so I am a doctor, so I prescribe drugs on a daily basis. Um, so many healthcare professionals, including doctors, nurses, pharmacists, must be handling drugs on a daily basis. They may not be prescribing drugs, of course not all, but they might be one of the persons in the logistic chain of drug supply to the individual. So, the possibility is that they might come across a new adverse drug reaction which has not been earlier notified, or is does not exist as such in the theory when they are using any kind of a new or old drug in a population. Now, if they are in a position that they detect this new ADR, they need to notify this new ADR to the concerned authorities. It might be a hospital authority which looks into the areas, or it might be the state authority, or it might be a national authority, depending upon the severity of the condition. Of course, notification of this ADR is necessary, and you also need to know that there is a process involved in this notification. And the best of this would be the yellow card system, which is used by one of the countries in the Europe, and it's very famous because you need to fill in a form if you suspect adverse drug reaction in the patients that you are concerned with, and with the new or the old drug that you are using, and you need to drop this yellow card with the concerned authorities, basically local authorities, and they will then look into all those things. So there is a system of reporting. Now definitely this reporting system is robust in the developed countries, but if you look into countries which are underdeveloped or developing, this system may not be that robust, and therefore there are problems associated with spontaneous reporting. There might be under reporting, right, because there is no system of health in countries, many countries I should say, not only underdeveloped countries but many countries. So it might not be accurate reporting, or it might be a delayed reporting also. So there can be patient factors, there will be doctor factors, there might be system factors. So all this play a role if we are looking into spontaneous reporting. But anyhow you take, it is one of the best methods of detection of the new ADR, because the drug will show its ADR, maybe a rare ADR in a specific patient. Doctor or the healthcare professionals who are kind of caregiving in personals to that patient might be the one who will detect this ADRs the first. So it's one of the best systems, but then the system has to be in the place, it should be robust, and all those factors will matter if one has to go for spontaneous reporting. Now here you can see a form which is also a pharmacovigilance form, they call it national pharmacovigilance form. It might be available in the hospitals that you might be working up, or you might work in the future. So these kind of forms with lot of information about the patient, about the reaction that you suspect, that you observed in the individual patient, what was the outcome of the reaction, and so on. So these are types of forms that are available for reporting, and you as a healthcare professional need to just fill up this form and pass it on to the local hospital authority, who will then look into this matter of adverse drug reactions related to the drug. So that's the kind of spontaneous reporting forms that we were talking of, and the best of course would be the yellow card system. Now this form is from some country in Africa. Anyway, the similar format would be the ones that you will see across. Nowadays you might have an electronic format also for adverse drug reporting. Whatever it might be, you need to fill up a form so that it goes and hits the vigilance authority. So that is what you need to know at the end of the day. In the country in which I practice, usually there is what is called as the blue card or the blue form. So that is what also, I mean, it differs from country to country, but whatever it is, the summary remains the same of reporting of ADRs. The next site at which, as I discussed earlier, but more in details, would be the clinical studies. Of course, these are post-marketing clinical studies or phase 4 studies. They are basically there to determine the safety and efficacy. But remember, all these studies are meant for drugs which are used at therapeutic doses, and also which are used for specific conditions. So often these randomized controlled trials or whatever we talk of may not be of much help to us in detecting a rare side effect of a drug. Of course, it also depends upon the number of individuals if in the trial. So if post marketing surveillance is done like in a globally in the global world, many countries are involved, definitely there are chances that you can detect one or two rare ADRs, because it all talks about volume, right? How many people are taking the drug, that will determine how fast you will detect a rare to rare ADR. So clinical studies, especially phase 4, also might help you in detecting ADRs as what we studied with spontaneous reporting. Of course, there are few other methods of detection. We talked of observational studies, the limited identification for new ADRs. Some case reporting might occur. Okay, some physician somewhere in the world or a doctor might prescribe a drug and come across a rare ADR, and he might publish it in journals. So it kinds of a reporting system, right? You read that journal and then you come to know about this rare ADR. But anyway, you talk of, it's all limited scope of detecting a new ADR. Meta-analysis of published papers, yes. If you have like 15, 20, 25 papers on a specific drug, and you do kind of a meta-analysis of all these papers, you go across all the papers. At the end of the day, you find that okay, this is something which is new, which is coming up from one of the papers, might be a new ADR also is detected. So anyway, these studies also give you fair good idea of what's happening with the safety profile of the drug. Now, what should be your action? Okay, you detected ADR. So if you are authority who is a hospital authority who is managing up with or overseeing the adverse drug reactions, the vigilance center of the hospital or a county or a state, or you are at national level, you need to do something if you come across any ADR. So the first is that you need to write letters to doctors across that area, that okay, this is the drug and we have found out that this adverse drug reaction comes in, so better avoid the drug, or at the end you need to look for alternatives, or just try to look for any kind of suspected ADR if the patient is on this drug. So you need to notify it to the doctors concerned. You can always approach the pharmaceutical industry either directly or through the FDA, and can pursue them to insert revised packaging material, or not packaging material, drug information booklet, which consists of all this rare to rare or whatever the new ADRs that you might have come across, so that everybody gets informed about what's happening with the drug. And definitely if the ADRs are too severe, it's related to death and so on, and then you need to inform it to the authorities. If you are authority, then you need to take a decision upon whether you want to voluntarily take the drug out, compulsory thing, or you would just want to leave it as it is. So a lot of things you can do with the drug, and that's why we say for Food and Drug Administration, one of the powerful authorities that at the national level, which can determine so many things related to the drug safety and efficacy. Now, if I want to give an example of medicine recall, there was a medicine called as nimesulide, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug with good, very good, I should say, antipyretic activity, but it led to what I should say is liver failure in children. So the drug was taken out. It is banned in few countries as of now, and so on. So you can recall the drugs back again if you find that there are a lot of adverse drug reactions. Again, you should also remember that some ADRs will be delayed type of ADRs, right? They won't come very fast. So even those delayed ADRs might be detected in a post-marketing surveillance, because remember, post-marketing surveillance can go on for years together, right? So at the end of 3, 5 or maybe 10 years, you detect a very severe ADR, and it might be occurring in the population who is taking a drug, and because of which you need to take the drug back. And it has happened with drugs that after a few years they have been taken out from the market. So this is what you can do as an authority, but as a doctor you can at least, or as a healthcare professional, you can at least notify a suspected new ADR to the concerned authorities. Now, if that was the case, we first of all need to establish a relationship between adverse drug reaction and the administered drug, because without this relationship being established, you may not be in a position to, what I can say, to take any action, right? You need to be very confident that this is the drug and this is the adverse drug reaction which has been caused by this drug. So you should be 200% confident about this relationship. So there is a classification on causality of reactions. It is something which is certain. So you are sure that this drug has caused the reaction, but in nature there is always a probability less than 100%, right? You get you get what is called as 100%, and there is always less than 100% also. So things like, you know, the classification like probable, which is likely, so you are not sure, but okay, you are confident that this might have happened. So something like a 70% confidence, then it's possible, I mean, it is possible that this relationship exists. So those kind of areas. And then there is the last one should be like a unlikely relationship between the ADR and administration of a drug. So here the levels will drop to around less than 10% or at times or even 0%. So it's not something which you are confident of, and you don't think that it's associated with any adverse drug reactions. Of course, this is on the paper. What happens in theory might be certainly different, but anyway, you need to then look into the causality of the reaction, and this is what it is classified as, and you need to put the drugs into these 4 baskets before taking any major decision about the fate of a drug. There's few other things that you might be asked to, you as a doctor or you as a healthcare professional might be asked to fill in if ADR is detected, and that is called as Naranjo's algorithm. It has the yes, no and don't know kind of a thing for all the questions asked here about the drug reactions. You can go through these questions, and you can either say yes, you can either say no, or you say don't know. So depending upon that, you get a score, and that score will then decide on whether the causality was certain, or it was less than that, or it was like unlikely, there is no relationship existing between the drug administered and the adverse drug reactions, because that's important for any authority or any doctor to note before taking any decision on the drug. So that is something that you need to know on Naranjo's algorithm. Definitely you need not know and remember all those questions, because anyway you need to just either tick it into yes, no or something of that sort. So but remember that there exists something, and tomorrow you as a healthcare professional might be asked to fill in up this form regarding a specific drug. So that's something on Naranjo's algorithm. If what I can say, we require something called as surveillance of ADS, right? Because we require watchdogs who can see into what's happening with the drug on the safety issues or the efficacy issues of the ADS and so on. So surveillance system for ADS needs to be in place. Of course, surveillance will be at the local level. It can, as I discussed earlier, it can be at the state level or the national level, and at the international level. Whatever the surveillance system is in place, it should be something which is standardized. Okay, so you require to have only one type of forms for reporting of spontaneous ADRs. You need to have committees which can then decide on the fate of a drug. You can either say, okay, whatever the data you have received from these many doctors is correct or incorrect, and depending upon that need to decide on what I can say, the fate of a drug. You need to meticulously see into the reporting system. Okay, it's not that somebody just reported through the card to you and you just take any decisions. No, you need to go back, think about so many things, and then decide on what's happening exactly. Need to be very certain upon causality and the administration of a drug, and then decide on the severity before taking any decisions on ADRs. Of course, if you are in a position where you are getting a severe type of, you are being reported about severe type of ADRs, and this is going on in many people across the population in which you are staying, then maybe you require to inform the national authorities or the pharmaceutical industry people about these kind of ADRs and try to see what's happening with the drugs. Now, as I said, is a reporting system for ADRs. So we have local authorities, hospital authorities who can look into this. We have National Pharmacovigilance Center, which collects data from across the state, across all the country, and tries to look into what's happening with the drugs. We have international authorities, of course, the Pharmacovigilance Center, which is international located, uh, which collects data and also helps in distribution of knowledge of drugs to the world. And the last would be the pharmaceutical company, because those people are the ones who have manufactured the drugs, so they should know on the severity of the areas. Sorry, I'm feeling sleepy. Okay, or whatever it might be. So they need to know about the pharmaceutical products that they are manufacturing. So that gives them a fairly good idea on how the drug is being, I should say, utilized in the market, as well as what's happening with the safety profile and the efficacy profile of the drug. Yes, if you find that a person has suffered from ADAs, you need to evaluate the nature of the ADAs. So you need to manage ADAs, right? So you need to identify the patient, want to identify about the history of an individual, whether he was allergic to any kind of a drug. If you are new to this channel, please go back and try to go through my lecture on how to write a prescription. And prescription, always the question is asked about drug allergies, so it's not for fun, but it's for getting some detailed information about the allergies related to drugs. Um, you also need to go back and look into the books about the new ADAs, try to find out that this ADA was never reported before, and try to find out the causality between the administered drug and the ADAs. Once you identify that this drug has caused ADR, then you need to classify the severity of the reaction into severe, mild, moderate, incidental. We have discussed this in our adverse drug reactions 1, so I won't be going into those details now. Again, if you are new to my channel, go back and try to look into my video on adverse drug reactions 1, where I talked about how to classify ADRs. As I said, you need to be very sure on the cause of the adverse drug reaction. So we use what's called as Naranjo algorithm, which we already looked into to assess patients' reactions. Evaluate the quality of medicine, okay, because that's also important, right? Two companies might produce the same medication, but one medication might be of lower standard than the other, which gives rise to a lot of adverse drug reactions. There might be adulteration also at times in the medicine which is taken, so need to look into the quality of the medication. So it's not that ADAs arise due to medicine, but they arise due to some other things in the medicine, syrup or tablet or capsule, whatever it might be. Check for medication error, okay, that's also important. Need to know how many, how much, how, I mean, need to know upon the dose, need to know about the frequency of administration of a drug. At the same time, you also need to know that what kind of drug was given. It might happen that the patient was prescribed paracetamol, but was given calcium channel blocker, because there is some problem in the medication side, there is some problem with the prescribing thing. So a lot of administrative issues which might just come up, surface up. So all this can cause a severe or a mild or moderate ADR and can create a lot of nuisance. So look into those things, and you might get the cause for ADR. Of course, if you want to correct ADR, you need to stop the dose of a drug. You might want to change to alternatives. You might at times only just lower the dose of a drug depending upon the severity. If the severity is very high, definitely you will stop the drug, and that's all. If the severity is moderate or mild, it is manageable. You just try to put the patient on to lower dose of a drug, or change the drug to some other alternative. If the severe ADRs come about, then you need to educate about it to the individuals, okay. So you need to monitor, you need to educate the prescribers, the doctors who are concerned prescribing. You need to change the drugs available in the formulary to some other things. You need to have the monitoring procedures for patients in place, and you need to inform the FDAs and the manufacturers at the same time. Whatever it might be, you need to educate and warn the patients, because patients ultimately are the ones who are going to be the ones who suffer the most at times with ADR, so they need to get educated about how the drugs uh, in fact I should say how the drugs are useful, at the same time how drugs can cause severe problems to the individual. So they should be knowing about both sides, so that they are pretty aware of all these things before taking any drugs. So that was my short quick analysis on how to identify ADR, and how to establish the causality, and how to basically handle adverse drug reactions if you come across any in your life. So that was all about my today's session. I hope you like my session. Please keep tuned up to my channel. Thank you. Bye. The last thing I should say is that since you have come so long watching my session today, there is no harm pushing up the like button, because your likes motivate me to go further and do many things for you. Definitely I would require subscriptions, because that's the one which keeps me moving on YouTube. So the more the subscriptions, the better is for me to deliver the stuff for you. Anyway, thank you. Bye.